Hello friends, I am Vipin Sharma, Assistant Professor, ECE Department. Hello students, in the previous lecture we discussed about inductive transducer and some mechanical gauzes to measure the pressure which is greater than atmospheric pressure. Now we will our previous lecture we discuss some mechanical gauzes like Bourdon tube, diaphragm, bellows, manometer, and some electrical transducer like inductive transducer we have discussed. Now we will discuss about capacitive transducer. In the inductive transducer, the principle was change in inductance, which with the help of that change in inductance, we measure the pressure. Now, as in capacitive transducer, the working principle is same here like inductive transducer. Here the change in the capacitance value of the transducer is measured, and that is calibrated in terms of pressure. So this is the structure of capacitive transducer. Here this is a tube in which this is the diaphragm, and here P1 atmospheric pressure that is used to measure, and here P2 atmospheric pressure. Now if P1 is greater than P2, then this center line will be shifted like this one, and if P2 is greater than P1, then there is shift in this direction. As a result, the capacitance of this device, this arrangement will change. Here we will act as these three three changes in the form of capacitance. This one C1, this is C1 capacitance, this is C2 capacitance, and the equivalent circuit of this arrangement is shown here. Here this is XC1, which is this one. This is XC2, this is this one, and R1. This R are the resistance. Here it is equivalent to a bridge circuit, as that was in inductive circuit, inductive transducer. But there in inductive transducer, in place of XC1, here XC1 we have XL1. There we are measuring change in inductance. Here we are measuring change in capacitance. Now let's understand it. If P1 is equal to P2, if both applied pressure are equal, then here the position of diaphragm will be this, yani it is in straight line. Therefore XC1 capacitance of C1 and capacitance of C2 will be same. As a result, that change in voltage will be 0, and we can say that P1 is equal to P2. If P1 is not equal to P2, then in that condition either the position will be this or this. Here P1 can be greater than P2 or P2 greater than P1. And so in both cases, when P1 is not equal to P2, in that case XC1 and XC2 will be different. As a result, there will be potential difference between these 2 points, which can be measured with the help of voltmeter, and that change in voltage we will convert it into pressure, measuring pressure quantity. Now what is the energy stored in a capacitor? We know that it is half CV square. I hope you studied it in your 12th standard, that energy stored in a capacitor is half CV square. So for electrostatic energy, if we have given angle displacement, here we can say that if in terms of angle, capacitance of a capacitive transducer changes. If this displacement may be in angular form or linear form. If this is in angular form, then we measure angular force. Angular force is equivalent to torque. So in torque will be 1/2 V square dc by d theta. Theta is angular displacement. And for linear force, half V square dc by dx. Here dc by d theta and dc by dx shows that capacitance of the capacitive transducer changes with respect to displacement. It may be angular displacement or it may be linear displacement. If we are measuring torque, then we used angular displacement, and if we are measuring force, we use linear displacement. Now, the here advantage of capacitive transducer is this, that it's small as compared to inductive transducer, and it is most widely used in industry. So uh, but there is one disadvantage, that it is affected by chemicals and electrostatic fields. In the presence of vibration produces error. So these two are its disadvantages. One is it is affected by chemicals and electrostatic fields. Second one, it produces error in vibration. Now, next is photoelectric pressure transducer. Now, inductive transducer we have studied, capacitive transducer we have studied. Now, photoelectric pressure transducer, as the name suggests, photoelectric pressure transducer, it means here we use a photodiodes as a device which change in pressure is measured, which measure the change in pressure, and there will be change in voltage. As a result, we get the measurement quantity pressure in terms of voltage, and we calibrated this voltage in terms of pressure, and it will shows us the reading of the pressure. Here, this is the photodiode which we used in photoelectric pressure transducer. What is the photodiode? Photodiode is a device which mainly works in reverse bias condition, and it detects the lights. If light falls on this diode, it produces a current. This is the working principle of photodiodes. It is photodiode and it works in reverse bias only. It is its characteristic graph. Basically, when light falls, its dark current increases as we increase the uh, luminance on the photodiode. Yeah, intensity of light which falls on the photodiode. Now, this is our arrangement with the help of which we measure the pressure. Here, this layer is diaphragm, and this is window, opening window, and here we place our light source. If there is a movement in the diaphragm, then this window will either contract or expand. So as we enter, as the test pressure enter here, there will be movement in the diaphragm, and it shows that there will be movement in window. Window will either expand or either contract. As a result, light intensity which is falling on the diode will increase or decrease. As a result, there will be change in output which is calibrated in terms of pressure. So this is our working principle of photoelectric pressure transducer. Now, by the application of test pressure, the diaphragm produces deflection so that window is partially closed depending on test pressure, and hence light intensity on the photodiode is reduced so that output voltage across the resistor is changed, which is a function of the test pressure. Now, next is, till now we discuss about the method which measure the pressure which is equivalent to atmospheric pressure or greater than atmospheric pressure. Now, if test pressure is less than atmospheric pressure, there are various gauge or transducer with the help of which we can measure these pressure. These devices are Pinani vacuum gauge, thermistor, thermocouple, ionization vacuum gauge, McLeod vacuum gauge, and Alphatron, Knudsen vacuum gauge. So these are various vacuum gauge with the help of which we measure the pressure which is less than atmospheric pressure. Here most important is thermistor and thermocouple, but we will discuss about all these little bit, and thermistor and thermocouple is more important here. So we will have more focus on these two transducer, thermistor and thermocouple. Now Pirani vacuum gauge. Pirani vacuum gauge is generally used to measure the pressure, which is equivalent to 10 raised to power minus 3 mm of Hg. Mm of millimeter of Hg, yani it is the unit of pressure. Mm of Hg, we measure pressure in terms of mm of Hg. 1 atmospheric is equal to, it's nearly, I think, 760 mm of Hg. Now here we have vacuum cylinder. It is gas chamber, and here one resistance or heater which produced, which sense heats is resistance. This resistance senses heat here now, and it is a bridge like structure. These four resistance are connected in the form of bridge, you can see, and here voltage is measured in terms of, if this resistance will change, start initially this bridge is a balanced condition, V naught is 0. As their resistance changes, there will be change in voltage, either it will be positive or negative. We can measure with the help of voltmeter. Now how it works. The principle of Pirani-Gauss transducer is thermal conductivity of gas molecules is a function of vacuum or low pressure. This principle is used in Pirani thermistor, thermocouple, ionization vacuum gauge. In the presence of vacuum, the gas molecule inside the glass chamber are absorbed by the vacuum, so that the cooling medium is decreased, which causes increase in temperature of the heater, so that resistance of the heater increases, causing the unbalance in the bridge circuit. As I already explained to you, that there is vacuum goes, the gas molecules enter here, it will start heating, and this heat will be sensed by this resistance. As a result, its resistance value will increase, and there will be change in voltage, which can be measured in terms of test pressure. The output voltage of a bridge is calculated in terms of vacuum under measurement. In Pirani-Gauss, the heater is made up of platinum tungsten. It means it measures up to 10 raised to power minus 3 mm of Hg. Now, I think you remember R2 is equal to R1 into 1 plus alpha T2 minus T1. It shows the variation in temperature variation in resistance with respect to temperature. Symbol of resistance, this one. Thermistor shows self-heating property. Self-heating property means as the temperature increase, let's suppose resistance is decreases, as a result current will increase. Current will increase means I square R losses will increase. I square R losses produce heat. Heat will change the resistance, and resistance will decrease. As a result, current will further increase. This will increase. This will further reduce the resistance. This process is called self-heating property. Because we know that as the temperature increases, so resistance of the material will decrease. The metal which we are using here, resistance will decrease. Now thermistor. In thermistor, here variation in resistance R2 is equal to R1 e raised to power beta 1 by T2 minus 1 by T1. Beta is constant of materials, which range is 3000 to 4000 degree Kelvin. T1 and T2 is temperature in Kelvin. For plus minus 100 degrees Celsius, the resistance change may be 50 ohm to 0.75 milliohm. Now here thermistor also have self-heating property. It means current will increase, I square R losses will increase, which increases heat. It means temperature increase, as a result resistance will decrease, it shows that current will increase, and this process is going on, current increases, and as a result there may be damage in the thermistor or our transducer. This is used in various measurement except temperature and example flow rate and flow. And this shows the thermistor vacuum goes. Arrangement is same as it was in our previous Pirani gauze. Arrangement is same. This is vacuum chamber. This is our uh, gas chamber, and this is our arrangement of the Wishbone bridge. It is used to measure the pressure up to 10 raised to power minus 4 mm of Hg, and working is same as gas enter. It produce heat. Heat is sensed by this heater, and as a result, V naught will change. Here, thermistor is made up of metal oxide like nickel, cobalt, iron, copper, etc. The size of thermistor is very small in millimeter range, hence used in very small areas where other instruments are not suitable. It has negative temperature coefficient. The sensitivity of thermistor is high, hence used for measurement of small change in data. This is advantages of thermistor laws. And by using self-heating property, non-electrical quantities other than temperature like vacuum, liquid level, liquid flow, thermal conductivity measured by thermistor. In the vacuum measurement, because of higher sensitivity, it measures up to 10 raised to power minus 4 mm of Hg. In the measurement of temperature, self-heating property is compensated by connecting a resistor across the thermistor. So this is some practical arrangement. In practical arrangement, we measure one resistance in the parallel of the thermistor, which compensates its change in resistance due to heating effect. Now thermocouple vacuum valve. Arrangement is same as was in previous cases, and it is thermocouple vacuum goes. Here we use two different metal couples. The basic working principle of thermocouple is if there is two different metal are connected at different temperature, then they will be developed in voltage, which can be measured with the help of PMMC, and this change in voltage can be calibrated in terms of measured pressure, and it is used to measure up to 10 raised to power minus 2 mm of Hg, and it is non-linear device. Now, in the next lecture, we will discuss about how we measure temperature and flow. And till then,